Hey, what is up everyone? In this episode of Play Like a Pro, we're going to be focusing on how to work better as a team, rather than just playing better individually like we have in the other videos in this series. In this video I'm going to talk about what has worked with my crew in working better together and how you can do the same thing. It all starts with communication. Being able to communicate well as a team will be key in winning any battle you're in. The most important part of communicating as a team is making sure everyone understands and is in agreement about each term or phrase that you use. Some things will be more obvious than others. For example, if I said we need to head north, it should be understood that we mean we need to head north based on the map or the compass. That should be pretty easy for anyone to understand if you told them this. But what if I said something like, watch the left ladder for a border? Your crewmate may ask, left of what, and not understand what you're talking about. And those few seconds of miscommunication is enough for the border to hop on your ship and kill you. This is why good communication is so important, and why making up a standardized set of phrases that everyone understands is important. Let's go back to that left ladder example. When I'm playing with my crew, we describe directions like that based on the ship and not ourselves. This means if someone is trying to board, say on the left side, it doesn't matter where on the ship I am, I always understand where that border is, because we all understand what is being communicated. If y'all want me to make a follow-up video talking about a bunch of different standardized phrases like that, let me know in the comments below. But next let's talk about roles. Roles are important in any crew, but especially on bigger ships where one person can't just do everything on their own. I like to think of roles as someone being an expert in whatever they're doing. So let's first talk about some of the roles that I use with my crew. First we have the captain. This is someone who should have the most or at least a lot of experience in the game. The captain is the primary person who steers the ship, and they have the responsibility of leading everyone else in the crew. If you become the captain of your crew, it's really important to remember a few key things if you want to be successful. First, the captain should not have a super big ego, where they act like they absolutely know everything and refuse to listen to their crew. Your crew often may come up with ideas that can help you in battle, and it's good to work with your crew together to come up with plans of attack. They may also know something that you don't know just because of your position. They might be able to see something that you can't see. Second, the captain needs to understand their crew's limitations. This is something I've struggled with before as well. Not every player in your crew will have the same skill level as you, and you can't get mad at them for not being able to do something that they are not capable of yet. Now, you can always help them get there, and practice makes perfect, so you can keep sending them out and having them keep practicing and doing that, and they'll eventually get better. But if they fail, you can't get mad at them, and you just have to be a good leader and help them out. Finally, it is important for the captain to keep a level head. If you're someone who gets very stressed in tense situations, then being captain may not be good for you. A good captain is someone who can remain calm and level-headed and lead their crew even when everything is going wrong. There's a lot more that goes into being a captain and a leader, but instead, let's move on and talk about the navigator. The navigator is someone who is tasked with getting players to the right destination, along with helping the captain avoid obstacles that they may not be able to see. The navigator needs to be someone who understands the map well and can adapt quickly to different situations. You may be getting chased by a rival crew and need the navigator to quickly locate an outpost for you to head to and sell. Next, the engineer. This is one of the most important roles. This role is kind of two roles in one. First, they are responsible for angling the sails properly and making sure that the ship is always going at max speed. And second, they are the person tasked with keeping the ship repaired during a fight. The engineer needs to understand the mechanics of the game, such as how to angle the sails and where to repair holes first. For example, you shouldn't be repairing holes that are on the top level of the galleon when there are holes down at the very bottom. It is also important for the engineer to communicate with the rest of the crew about the current state of the ship, and if they need help repairing. Typically, everyone but the captain who is steering should help repair and bucket water if needed. Finally, the last role we have on my crew is the Sea Dog. This is your main fighter and who is typically tasked with shooting cannons and boarding enemy crews. This role takes a lot of skill and understanding the full scope of fighting in Sea of Thieves and should typically be the player who has done the most fighting in the game. Like the captain, it is important for the sea dog to not have a big ego. You still must be able to work as a team, even if that means you have to stay on the ship for a bit and not fight. All of these roles are just a framework that you can change and add to if needed. On smaller crews, many of these roles will be combined together. Also, just because you take on one of these roles doesn't mean you can't do other stuff. For example, I'm often the captain when I'm playing, but I also do a lot of boarding and fighting while someone else takes the wheel for a bit. The roles are mostly just to help you work together better as a team, and not to confine you to only doing those few things. The last thing I wanted to talk about in this video is just communicating in general with your crew. It is important when in intense situations to not talk over each other, as key information can be lost. One person yelling the same thing repeatedly can mess up the focus of others in the crew. I find it's also good to describe what you are doing to the rest of the crew. For example, if I was swimming up to the ship, I would say that I'm swimming back to the ship, so that the rest of the crew knows that if they hear something and I don't say anything, then it could be an enemy. This also helps the captain understand what is going on and better lead the crew on what to do next. If you're the engineer, for example, who is repairing, you could say something like, "We're doing okay, fixing 2 more holes down here." That would let the captain know that they could bring the ship back into the fight, or whatever else they're doing. These are all things I've done with the people I play with, and it has helped me a lot in winning many battles. I hope you learned something from this video and that it helps you and your crew out on the seas. That's it for this video. If you enjoyed, it'd be great if you left a like and subscribe. Until next time, thanks for watching, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye y'all.